Hello fellow readers, Mrs. Weidman here, and today I'm going to tell you all about this awesome book called The Bone Spindle by Leslie Vedder. I actually finished reading this book yesterday, and I have to let you know that I absolutely loved this book. It's probably one of the best books that I've read so far this year. And if you know anything about us here in Library Land, you know that that's a pretty big compliment, seeing as we try to read at least one book a week. So this book is high fantasy, right? It takes place in a completely made up world. However, you're kind of going to recognize some elements because it is based loosely kind of on fairy tales that you've heard before. So it might feature some prominent fairy tale characters that you have already heard of. So the main character in this book is actually a girl, and her name's Fi. And Fi is what you would call a treasure hunter or a ruin hunter. And so she spent most of the past couple of years exploring all of these old crumbling buildings and manors and houses and caves and all these other creepy places, hoping to find magic relics or more information about the great kingdom of Andar. That was this wonderful kingdom of magic that actually fell 100 years beforehand. Well, and she's joined by her partner in crime, Shane, right? And Shane's the other protagonist in this story. And Shane is just like she appears on the cover. She is this kick butt, take no nonsense, do whatever I want, including smashing people with my axe kind of girl, right? And then the third character is actually not pictured on the cover, but it's a young prince, and his name is Briar Rose. And Briar Rose was actually placed under this evil curse over 100 years ago, right, where the last three great witches of Andar gave their lives to protect, right, this young prince, Briar Rose, from this evil curse that has been placed on him by the Spindle Witch, right? So he's actually been asleep along with everybody in his castle for over 100 years. The castle's surrounded by this really terrible thorn forest, right? But Briar Rose's tower is actually still covered in these beautiful roses, right? So one day, as they're exploring some ruins, right, Fi and Shane come across this little bone spindle. Fi unfortunately pricks her hand and then launches them on a quest to wake up Briar Rose, survive all of these witch hunters and evil maniacal witches and other quest items that get in their way, right, as they are attempting to get to, right, Andor through the thorn forest and, of course, kiss Briar Rose in order to wake him up. So if you are a fan of fantasy, if you're a fan of fairy tales retold, if you like kick-butt feminine characters who take no nonsense, right, who go on these awesome action-packed quests to fight for what is right, and if you like just a little bit of kissing, right, then this book, The Bone Spindle, should definitely be your next read. Look forward to seeing you all online soon.